Harmonize
the podcast.
Yes.
With Nina
and Kenya.
1, 2, 25, 10.
Yeah, 18, 17. What you doing? You late.
Lay it down. Put it on the ground. 25, 16.
Take 2.
Yep, that's where we are today.
Hi, y'all.
Nina
and Kenya.
And we are Harmonize the podcast.
Oh.
Where we talk about all things being black,
Being a wife.
being a woman.
Being a woman.
Take 2. Being black,
Being a woman.
being a wife,
Being a mother.
being a Christian.
Being an artist.
Yes.
Okay.
And all the things. Something like that. We talk about all those things.
Oh, yes, we do.
And we have this thing we do in the theater sometimes where we do it.
Keep singing. Keep talking.
No, keep on. Yes. Where we do a check-in. You know, my cousin, Tia, when she's teaching, she says, "What's in the room?" And you don't have to explain it, but you can just say,
He heard
"Today, it sucks. I'm in a bad mood. Thank you." And then it goes to the next person, you know, and you don't have to say why. You don't have to tell this whole story. You just say the thing. It releases the charge so that you're not trying to fight against it and pretend like you're not in a bad mood.
Right.
But
Nobody has time for that, really, anyway.
No, nobody has time for that.
No.
So the thing is, it's like you just say what's in the room. So me and Kenya are exhausted. I speak for myself. I'm exhausted.
No, I'm exhausted. You spoke for me.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm emotionally exhausted.
Okay, I think I might be physically
And
exhausted.
mentally exhausted. Physically, I've actually had quite a bit of rest, but I feel emotionally and mentally worn out. All right.
Oh my gosh, I'm still digesting great stuff from the summer.
Yes, me too. That's part of the reason. You know, that's part of the reason.
And it's kind of like this. If you eat a whole bunch of meat, it takes a long time to digest.
Yep.
It's never good when it does happen. It comes out pretty rough.
You
However it comes out or goes, where it's supposed to go. And then you can eat healthy food, like a whole lot of it. And that too can be kind of a challenge because although it can go through you nicely, sometimes it sticks around and there's gas. And it's uncomfortable. You just have to, it's good stuff, but you still got to digest it.
Yes.
So I'm finding that so much great stuff is happening. I haven't had a chance to digest it, and I'm just stuck with a whole lot of gas.
There you go. So you can feel full. You can feel very full, even if it's, oh my God, Kenya. I can't stand her sometimes. Even if it's good. You know what I'm saying? So, and our dear friend, friend of the show, yes, Miss Tanisha Barnes.
Oh my God.
Tanisha Barnes Global Travel
her.
And Tanisha Barnes Beauty and all of the things.
Oh my gosh.
She talks quite a bit about, she's very big inspiration to both of us.
Yes,
so
she really is.
We
I don't know if you know that. Really, I just Miss Tanisha Barnes. You really are.
We follow all of her goings on.
Yes.
But she talks a great deal about, Black people's liberation and particularly Black women's, empowerment and all of those things. And one of the points that she is consistent about all the time. I mean, she is steadfast, faced, set like a flint, as they say in the church, about visualizing where we want to go. Like, yes, it's the beautiful struggle and all of these things, but what are we struggling to? Because sometimes that seems to be the piece that's missing is like, we are so focused on our oppression that we forget what freedom looks like.
Oh, yes. Could you just repeat that again? That just struck a chord with me.
Yeah. That sometimes we are so focused on our oppression, we forget what freedom looks like. And it is a challenging, Haha, here's the thing. There's a quote that my dear friends Ty and Shayna. Hey Ty,
Hey y'all, hey, what's going on?
They quote all the time, and it's not about this at all, but it applies. And I can't remember it's Estelle something is the woman that said it. I'm gonna find out, put it in show notes. But anyway,
right.
the last part of the quote is she says, this is not can you left her phone on?
Oh Lord, I'm so embarrassed. Oh dear God, if it ain't Jesus, don't pick it up.
But one of the last part of the quote, she's talking about other things, but the last part of the quote is, it's not a problem to solve, but a paradox to manage. And I think that is kind of the heart and the crux of Black women's empowerment, because you have to understand, break down, and face what our oppression is.
Right.
And because if you don't understand the truth of it, you cannot fight, stand, or overcome it. Right.
Right.
But you also have to know what freedom looks like to you.
Right.
And it's one of those things. It's like, if you move on up to the east side, you finally get your piece of the pie. Do you forget Kinsman in 105? Come on. You know what I mean? But you can't, because until all of us are free, none of us are free, right? That's right. Okay. So Kenya and I have been talking a lot about, being on the east side, the upper east side.
Yes, right.
Getting our piece of the pie.
Yes, you all have been a part of this.
Exactly.
You all are part of it.
You have come for the journey.
Yes, come on. Hop in the back.
But and we are far from having quote unquote arrived, but we are much closer than we were, a year ago.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
When we started the podcast. But so no, I don't want to ever forget, where I started, because it makes the destination that much sweeter. And the destination for me is the journey.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I know that I am so exhausted mentally and emotionally right now. Well, there are a myriad of reasons, but one of them is, I'm taking a deep dive into the show. It always amazes me as an actor, when you come back to a piece that you've done before, how much you can find there again.
Right. And,
I liken it to studying the Bible or whatever religious text it is, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, the sutras, whatever. Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower, whatever it may be for you. When you reread a thing and you go back and you rehearse it again, you find new stuff. And Your Mama is about my life. So it still amazes me how much I learned from my own story over and over and over and over again. I had the experience of that when I did No Child, and then we remounted it, which is a play by Nalaja Sun. And we came back like 6 months later and remounted it because it was basically brought back by popular demand. And I was like, oh, like there was all this stuff that I suddenly understood because it had had time to digest. Right. That I didn't understand the first time through. And I was like, oh, And so like I've been working with Your Mama now for 7-8 years. Yeah. But I am a different person. Right. Now, I realized this year that it's been exactly 20 years since I've been out of my parents' house. So exactly 20 years since I'm removed from the specific trauma that occurred there. Right. And, motherhood and birthing and all of that is.
But you can find out more if you get a chance to see Your Mama.
Yeah, running, shameless plug. Running October 11th through 27th at Cleveland Public Theater. We'll put it in the show notes.
That's right.
But so much of the show is about pregnancy and, the process of that. And
which is inspirational, because I wonder if I should bring up Through Her Eyes again.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay. And the answer is yes, you should.
Okay.
But I think it was when Nalaya was born.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's number 3, right?
Yes,
Jinlei,
yes,
Jahi, Nalaya.
Lord Jesus,
here,
take another sip of that coffee.
It's so many of them.
Okay.
There's only 5. That's what I always tell people. Like, how are you and your 100 children? There's not 100. There are 5.
Don't stress me today. Because sometimes I think I have more than but I do. I have 3.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, okay. You do. So
anyway,
one of the things I learned with Nalaya. Oh, you see that? The coffee brought the train of thought back.
I know.
One of the things I learned with Nalaya from World Peace. Hey, Isha.
Hey.
My sister is a doula and a lactation consultant. Is that it takes a full 9 months for your internal organs to repair or heal from pregnancy and labor. Like you might look fine after 3. You might not necessarily feel the effects of the birth after 3, but you still got 6 more months of healing. Yeah. And I'm like, why isn't this like standard knowledge? Why am I on my 3rd kid and I'm just learning this?
Right.
In the particular way I learned it then. Right. Mm-hmm. And so it takes almost as long as it took for the baby to develop for your body to heal. Mm-hmm. Not everything takes that long. Mm-hmm. There are parts of it that heal very quickly, and there are other things that it takes time. So that to say, see, girl, I got my thoughts together. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm so happy. I'm still sucking up coffee.
I've been out of that house for 20 years. And sure, there are parts of it that healed immediately just by virtue of the fact that I wasn't there no more.
Yeah, right.
There are parts of it that took longer, and there are other parts. And then what I realized when I kind of had that moment of, wow, it's been 20 years was I don't have to hold this anymore. I have space for other things. There were parts of it I was still holding that I didn't realize I was holding, and so the question I asked myself was, who am I without my trauma? And so I have a lot of, so here I go opening the floodgates.
No pun intended.
Right. And so what has happened since I asked myself that question is I've made room for all of this other stuff to digest. And I am very emotional in this season as I revisit the show and am learning it again, as I have, Nathan directed me this summer, but this summer was really about getting it up, but this
getting out of the state for a second.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
But
like you had to get out of your house. Yeah. And think, and you have to, yeah.
Yeah.
And you come back, you're like, okay, I'm back in the house.
Right.
Some things have got to change around here, and you don't know what to do or to start with. Well, that's what I'm liking it to. So,
And so now, but this time through, we're taking a deeper dive because, the one night only send off in Cleveland was really, I needed to do it for an audience that I knew was loving and supportive before I took it before strangers.
Yeah.
Then,
thank you all.
Yes. Thank you all. So, cause that was everything.
Yeah.
Then I took it to LA, we went to LA, we did the show, it was very well received.
Yeah.
And really that time through was, really about, I can still do this. I still have the physical stamina to do this piece.
Right.
And so now I get to really explore it again as an artist. And I'm like, and I don't play.
Yeah, right.
Whenever I'm doing it, but the goal was slightly different. And so now just being able to sit in it and dig in it and find new things and all of that, it has me in a state. And can you attest to?
Yes, girl, I hear you. I am.
Child, your turn. I've been talking for 15 minutes.
I was loving it. Well, first of all, you all know that I have not slept. So, let me just tell you, y'all want to know what's going on. I had to get my daughter up extra early this morning so she could go back to the school and get her homework and try to get it done in the car, because you can't have a child at the school unattenderated. So she went and got her work. And, it just threw me for a loop because y'all know I'm not really an early bird at all. So I had that going on. And I also had a whole bunch of classes last night, and I too am trying to still digest some things. But I can tell you this, I'm in that space too, where you hit a lot of points, but one of the things is that, where you had to leave the house, you had to leave the state in order to kind of, get a bird's eye view of, who you are again. And I had that same feeling when I was in New York. And I don't think I'm not done picking that apart yet, because whatever that was when I came back, I'm trying very much to hold on to. Now, I have recently had a birthday. Thank you all very much for my yes, and I'm going to say my age, 49. Get it. I can still do it like this. I can still do it like that. But yes, but in my 49 years, minus a few because I had to learn how to walk and talk.
You're hilarious. You're hilarious. I cannot with you.
So, we're going to say in my 28 years. Yeah.
Shit. What? In your 28 years, it took you how many?
Long time.
It took you 20 years to learn how to walk and talk.
Well, yes. Yes. Well, to think. Yes.
Neither one of us together. Add.
But in those years, I know that it's never good to hold anything with a tight grip. And I don't think it's in my DNA anyway. It just doesn't.
I don't think it is.
No, it just doesn't work out for me. So, but I was trying to capture the essence of, being able to step out of the house and then find some new parts of myself or reconnect some new parts of myself. Yeah. And then come back home and then recreate. And so I'm at the point of, okay, things are going good, but the pattern has always been blah, blah, blah. Well, I have, Kenya Woods has dispelled that, trauma or, that unease. I won't say it's as much trauma, but definitely unease of her life. And so now how do I move forward? That the unease is gone. Right. And so I feel like I'm walking around my house, my new space, like, all right, this is good. But don't jinx it. Hence, speak it into existence.
Yeah. Oh, so Issa Rae, when we were deciding what to title today's episode, Issa Rae tweeted out this week, I'm half speak it into existence and half shut up, don't jinx it.
That's right. That's it in a nutshell. And I know I'm not alone with it. So we have variations of it between the two of us, you and I. I don't know. This year has been very, very exciting. And usually what my thought pattern is that when something really wonderful happens, I anticipate for the great fall to happen. I know it's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. But this time I'm looking at it a little bit differently, where it's like, well, it doesn't have to be a fall. It could, maybe it's going to be better than you think. Well, maybe you could create it better than you think to the best of your ability if it goes in, parallel with God's plan. Let's focus on that for a second. And let me tell you, I think I've always innately thought like that. And as I've gotten older, had to work at thinking like it. And it's more, I don't want to say scary, but it's definitely testy.
Testy is a good word.
Yeah. To think in those terms.
Yeah.
So, I understand what you're going through.
She has talked me off the ledge 3-4 times this week. One day last week, she was like, go take a nap. Nina, go lay down. Put the mop down. What are you doing? Go to sleep. And I was like, okay.
I know what it's like with me because you've had to do that to me several times. Kelly has had all her life. Kelly's had to, girl, go lie down. And I really would. I'd be like, you remember like, go take a nap. I'm not tired. Take a nap. Okay.
Do you remember the time the senior class of CSA?
Yes.
Was it Kaleem's class or the class before
No, it
him?
was Denzel.
Denzel and Kavani was their class.
And
all of them.
Beefcake, yeah.
All of them. They were so stressed and out of control. Kenny came in to teach her musical theater unit. And she was like, so we're going to stretch. And we're going to, she put on like some soft jazz or something and turn the light out. Brought them through this whole like maybe 5-10 minute stretch.
Yeah,
and
breathe in, breathe out.
Right, and had them lay down in Savasana, which is like the pose of the dead. And she was like, now go to sleep. When I tell you that entire senior class was asleep for a good 30 minutes.
Because they were so off the wall. I was like, what are you doing? That's not like you. Denzel, what are you doing? Beefcake, what is going on? What's wrong with you? So, and at the time, Jordan was 3.
Yes.
And so I was in full mommy mode. I could totally detect it. I was like, are you hungry? Are you tired? And they're like, rah, 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 rah. I said, okay.
Everybody lay down and take
I
it
sure did. I said, take 4 deep breaths in, 4 out. Okay, let's descend to the floor, lie down, go to sleep. Good night. And they looked at me, but all for a second. Nobody even challenged me. They just was like,
went to bed. Sometimes you just need to go to bed.
I know. One person didn't wake up for a long time. I was like nudging him like, are you dead?
Right.
And they were like, nah, he just hadn't slept in a while. Okay, you just let him sleep. As my daddy says, let sleeping dogs lie. So, but it's that's the one thing, because and let's go back, because see, I remember you have children in the house who are under the age of 7,
which you had to remind me of.
Right. I remember. I remember very well.
I remember.
You get into a groove somewhere around the age of 2.5, 3. You are so on autopilot, you don't even know how much on autopilot you are.
Right.
And so, I'm high energy. So it takes days, sometimes weeks or months for me to really be exhausted and then have a complete fit. And children will do that to you. And I can tell you firsthand, when I'm to the point where I'm exhausted, where you're looking at me and I hear the vibration of the sound from your mouth that you're saying, but all I feel is vibrations. I feel it in and out, and all I want to do is close my eyes and go to sleep. I'm so delirious. I don't even, I'm almost sick because I'm not making proper decisions, everything. Like when I'm trying, everybody's, that sword thing, and Andrea, I know, Miss Corbin, all of that happens, and then I go to sleep and I'm like, oh, I must have really needed it.
Right. I feel so much better.
Yeah.
My mind is so clear.
I can do everything. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So, that's one thing. So, if you're a mom and you're in it, this pot is for you. So we can remind you.
Right. And there was my sister, once again, she's my man on the mountain.
Yes, world peace.
My shaman,
she's so pretty.
My lady on the mountain.
Yeah.
Reminded me that it's the first time really since Jahi was born that I haven't been pregnant or nursing.
Right.
In like 12 years, because he was born, nursed him till he was about 1.5.
So you got your body back.
And then I was pregnant with Nalia. So then I'm pregnant. Then I nursed her till she was about 2. She weaned. A month or so goes by. I'm pregnant.
Right.
With Narayan.
Yeah.
Pregnant. Right. Nurse him.
Right.
He gets done. Month or 2 goes by. Pregnant. And I was like, oh, you're right. I've been like pregnant or nursing a person.
Yeah.
For the past 12 years.
Yeah.
And
you get your body back. You're like, you left me with this? Well, that's what it is for me. You gotta be kidding me.
Well, what I realized is happening to me was it's, when you're done and you decide you're done and the hormones settle and stuff, that's one thing. I'm so sensitive to what's happening to me physically and internally that my entire, stuff always manifests for me emotionally first. So like I will feel like something is off before I realize something is physically off. You know what I mean? Like I'm very sensitive to the hormone change.
Right.
So this is the first time like my body was kind of like waiting, like, are we gonna do it again? It's like,
sure?
we're not. Okay, I'm going to turn all of this off now. And it's
wow.
like a switch. So it's like, I had my yearly physical the other day and I told my doctor, it's like, I feel like I'm having like a hormone crash. Like I feel like you feel when you're hungover.
Yeah.
Except constantly.
Right.
And she's like, yeah. I was like, what you mean? Yeah. Like, fix it. Like I'm doing all the things. I'm exercising 5 days a week.
Right.
I'm
eating right.
I'm drinking all the water. I'm taking my vitamins. She's like, yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
I was like, what? She's like, no, that's just, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'll ease up in a little bit. I'm like, well,
when is a little bit? That's like, what I wanted to know.
Right. And like, what am I supposed to do in the meantime? She's like, you'll be all right.
I hate when the older people tell you, well, more older people tell you that kind of stuff all the time.
Or like, well, I mean, what she did tell me to do, she told me to get a particular app. She's like, I use this one. Okay. I have several, of my female patients to use this one because after like a month or two, it's very good at predicting, you about to start PMSing in a day. Oh, you ready?
Goodness. Right, right.
And, she's like, sometimes just having the heads up can help you go, okay, I'm not crazy. Right. Because when your life is as busy as ours is, it's very easy to go like, oh, well, I had this happen today and the kids, this is going on with the kids and I have this deadline. So all of this is why I'm feeling like this. Right. And then you're crying because somebody didn't text you back. But it's like, then I'm crying because I didn't get a text. Right. And I'm calling you like, this happened and and I don't understand why the people won't just cooperate. And she's like, take a nap. And then I look up and I look at the calendar and I realize, I'm about a week out from my stuff. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. And then the next day the fog lifts and I feel completely, what normal feels like for me. Right. And then I'm going, what the hell was that? Right.
Or you could be like me and have these fun changes happening for a couple months. I'm like, why is it not going away? It's been 3 weeks. I had my period. I didn't have it for a week. I got it again. No, are we there yet? So I'll have to do a doctor update and let y'all know what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and one of the things she said to me, my doc, was, I think it's always surprising for women how often your cycle can change. It's like, so your cycle is just another freaking child. Because as soon as you get used to it and you're like, okay, I know what it's doing, it changes.
Right. That's so true. And you know what? This was really hard for me to understand, I think, after having children, because I didn't really have, other than cramps, I didn't really have too many issues. I don't, people say that if you're a dancer, I was a dancer, so I got it a little bit when I was 13, and then it didn't show back up till I was like 16 for, regular. When I got it, then it was a few little cramps. I don't recall any type of mood changes. I mean, nothing. Had children, and then after the second one, I was like, hey, what is this feeling? This sucks. I only had it for like all of 1 year. What people have been going through all of their lives. I'm like, this is terrible. Why do people have to go through this? This is terrible. Oh, shut up and pass me the chocolate and a water and an apple and a double cheeseburger.
Not a double cheeseburger.
It's always so extreme. Everything that I would crave would be like, I want a whole pot full of Brussels sprouts and I want some chocolate covered popcorn and pop or soda, as some would say.
No.
Yes. So, or soda pop or Coca-Cola or cold drink, whatever it is, So, and now I'm just like, girl, I don't know what to do. I'm all over the place.
Well, that's how we feel today, all over the place.
And look, the weather changed just like that.
Right, just like that.
Because I feel like
welcome to Cleveland.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think we're very much like that in general. When you live here this long, you become like the weather. Just wait 20 minutes. everything will change.
Is that what it is? I need to leave Cleveland.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we all need to. Let's all go to Miami.
Lord Jesus. But yeah, so that's, and so
yeah.
What's happening for me is like, so that, physical thing, which is affecting my mental and emotional, is happening. Meanwhile, life is still happening,
Yes, it's a beautiful life.
My big girl about to go to college.
She sang for President Barack Obama.
Y'all. She did. She got to sing the national anthem.
Can they check it out? Can you
yes,
post
I will put a link to her singing in the show.
Now, I want you all to understand that her daughter, okay,
here we go,
my niece, that's why I'm claiming her. She also is a dancer as well. My father has vocally trained her. So she will be a CSA grad. It was just lovely to hear her beautiful voice because she has a very unique and particular voice, and it sounds something very much that it sounds like a rock voice to me.
Yeah, but she sings. I mean, yes,
and she
sings jazz and opera mostly.
Right, yeah. but the texture of her voice is something that you would use for, I don't know, Tina Turner or Corene Bailey. No, not Corene Bailey. But you know what I'm saying.
No, I think that's a good comparison.
It sounds, when you first off, you hear this grungy, but not in a bad way, but grungy, like it has a really beautiful.
It has a very
texture.
Yeah, it has a very mature tone.
Yeah,
she sounds much old, especially when she sings jazz.
Yeah, right.
She sounds much older. Like her voice sounds much more mature, than she is chronologically.
Right.
But then when she sings, classical or operatic things, it's this high, beautiful soprano.
It is, but you still hear it. So, but it's a beautiful mix. I don't think so many people can pull that off.
Yeah.
So when she sang. And she hit this one note. You all have to see it. I can't wait. She hit this one note. I think she was just surprised at, how people reacted to her. And my dad was like, yeah, she let her emotions get the better of her. I was like, ooh, you're going to be in trouble, but it's going to be okay. I know we got to talk. It's going to be okay. But it was just so beautiful to see her blossom right there in front of your eyes. You know?
Yeah. And so that's happening. She's applying to colleges, and then I have everything in between. I have a middle schooler. I got,
Miss Nalaya.
I got babies in elementary, and then I got a 3-year-old. Then I have a husband.
Yeah, forget about them.
And we trying to, be like, hey, babe, I love you. How are you? How's your life?
Yeah, right.
And then there's the career. Yeah. And so right now, harmonizing is challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging. And I'm feeling, Derek sent us a
Hey Derek.
He sent us I'm gonna have to find it and post it on the Instagram, but he tagged us in, I want to say it was a monologue from a play. And one character was talking about music specifically, but she's saying how when you listen to real harmony in an orchestra, there's always discord within the harmony, because that's part of what makes it beautiful. So
beautiful.
So we're there. I'm there right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the same time trying to remain, it's like, there's this meme I saw. I'm gonna find it. Look, I got all these things to find that I'm writing in the notes, but I don't remember what's happening in the picture, but it's like, this is me trying to drink my water, take my vitamins, exercise, make love to my partner, eat right, thrive in my career, go up and something else all at the same time. And it's like, shoot.
Yes.
Can I just go sit down somewhere?
Just go sit down. Hint, speak it into existence
and then shut up. Yes. Because that has been a thing, because I'm in the phase of my life again where my I'm in like, I don't even know how to say this, like, because my faith never went anywhere. So that's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm in, everything has an ebb and a flow. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm in a flow, where it's like, I think about it, I meditate, I visualize, I set an intention, I pray, I say, here you go, Lord, I'm giving it to you. You can have it. Ancestors on the other side, continue doing what you do, right. And then you try to walk away from it.
Yeah. Ain't nothing more you can do.
Right. And nothing more you can do. Right. You do the work. And I think it's, I want to say it's Lecrae, said, he's a gospel rapper, but he said, pray as if it depends on God, work as if it depends on you.
Okay. There you go.
And, so just trying to do that all the time. And it's like, I'm in that place where even though a lot is flowing and it's flowing in the direction I want it to flow, I'm feeling the work part in a different way, and it's just like, oh,
girl, I'm telling you, I hear you.
Just, ooh.
That's all you can say is, ooh.
Right.
Oh.
Or you can say what Orson Welles.
French.
No. You gotta do the first thing. First he goes, the French champagne. Y'all, there is this video that I have been laughing at.
Song. And I think I'm with Kelly. I'm laughing more at your reaction to that.
This video is just...
Please post it.
I'm going to post it. It's this footage that emerged of Orson Welles. And, it's like towards the end of his career. This isn't like young, young Orson, at the height of his filmmaking career. Now, this is like Orson
when he just does not give a care at all.
But this is like Orson, Orson's big. He looked like Perry Mason in this.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to do this for y'all. It's a thing that like if Orson Welles appears, they're going to make $5,000 in a commercial, or whatever it is. But it's a champagne commercial. Oh. And so it's this outtake footage. And it's like every time I watch it, something else is even more funny. But he is hammered.
He was in the back drinking the champagne.
Listen, he had to have like a couple bottles because when I tell you he is so gone, and it's like the other actors in the commercial are the funniest because you can tell they're like, they're young, they're like, looking like the, magazine models, and they are trying so hard to hold it together and be professional. And Orson is drunk off his, he is drunk off his behind. And they're like, take one. And he just sits there looking. But
take two, my favorite one.
Right? And then you hear the director say, Orson, action. And then he's like, oh, he's not going to do anything. And they're like, no, okay, cut. And then they come back, see, whatever, 102, take two.
But he's scratching, like on take two.
That's the third one.
Oh, that's the third one. Okay,
so take two, he's like, French champagne, known for its excellence, is a California champagne by Paul Masson. And he's just slurring. And finally the director's like, okay, cut. And then,
I have to do this tomorrow.
Then the third take, and it's like the two actors, because it's a couple, a man and a woman, and her only job is to smile and look pretty, literally, and stand there next to the guy. The guy's job is to hold the bottle of champagne and then pour.
Or appear it as if he's pouring.
Right.
Because they cut it right. Okay.
Right. While Orson talks. So they get to the third take and the guy's jaw is so tight. And you can tell he's like, just listen for the cue word and pour. And the girl, she's looking like, just smile and breathe. Don't laugh. Just smile. Don't laugh.
Oh my God. And they were so tired by it. They were just done.
Orson's like scratching his forehead. And the director's like, take three. And he's like, the French champagne.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy is gone.
He's gone, child.
Gone. And then there's like 3 layers of background actors who are supposed to be talking and drinking and looking as if they're having a good time. And I'm just like, can they please find anyone from that day and just interview them? It is so
Is there
funny.
anybody out there who exists who was...
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And every time I watch it, I think that might be your happy place. It is hilarious.
It's like The Lion for me.
Yes, it is. It is so funny because, like,
ooh. For y'all who didn't know The Lion, the light-skinned lion, the light-skinned brother. That's how they sound.
Not the light-skinned lion.
Oh my God.
And you know that the line is, if it's written, it's like, exclamation point, the French champagne, and they're expecting him to say, the French champagne. He's like,
the French champagne.
Champagne. It's a California.
Child, I'm over here just lying down at this point. Y'all, speaking of champagne,
oh my gosh,
I want you all to understand.
We did not have any.
No, we didn't have any. We did not have any. But I do want y'all to understand that I have actually been celebrating for 17 days straight.
Yes, because that's how you do it.
Girl, I'm trying to muster up enough energy for this one more party. Oh my God.
Hey, Sophia girl,
happy. Yes, child. Yes, I'm trying to muster the energy up. But I feel like that's what I feel like right now. I feel like I was going to say Paul Masson.
French champagne.
Orson, what's the guy name? Oh Lord,
Orson Welles.
Orson Welles. That's how I feel like right now. From happiness. It's really strange. From happiness. I swear to you, I'm happy. Oh, I'm so tired. There it is, right there. Orson Welles was wasted in the champagne ad.
Oh, it's not going to record because it's okay, hold on. No, I'm going to do it this way. Hold on.
I was going to say, cut.
Not right. Cut. 102, take 2.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I forget what we were talking about now.
Girl, we were talking about, speaking into existence.
Oh, and shutting up.
And
I'm at the point where I just
need to shut up.
Oh my gosh.
102, take 1. With overlap, action please.
Action, David.
Action Orson, please.
Just do anything?
No, sorry, cut. You're rolling. 102, take 2.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. It is a California champagne by Paul Masson.
He sounds like he's questioning
inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle of this French champagne. It's vintage dated. So Paul Masson.
102, take 3.
This moment.
Action please.
Champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
I cannot.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
We have nothing wise to say to you today.
No, nothing. Nothing. There was some stuff going on, but I forget. I truly.
Look, this week, we are digesting.
We're digesting, child.
Like we're not quite butterflies yet, but we're not still in the cocoon.
Yeah.
It's like we're pushing out.
Yeah.
The chrysalis.
Right. You know the stuff that drips up. That stuff
but the wings aren't quite filled
No,
yet.
not quite.
It's
not
like
quite. It's
that.
coming. For real, it's coming. And it's not going to be like 20 million years. Like it's coming around the corner.
Oh no. We
Excuse
I
me.
know we can talk about. We have a couple interviews that we're going to be doing.
Yes.
We're excited.
Daddy and Fonte. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Amar Gamal, y'all.
And listen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Linda.
Listen.
Okay,
Listen.
this is when you know.
Oh, excuse me.
Let me
Excuse
clear
me.
my throat. around. But unfortunately, I have a production meeting to go to.
I just have to clean out my van. I do have to go shopping and get some. I have to get some ingredients for Sage is having a birthday party with her friend. What's her name? I forget the child name.
Don't say it.
Right, but it's really wonderful. She's having a passport party. She's Nigerian.
Beautiful.
Yes, she's Nigerian. So she's having a passport party, so you can pick any country that you wanted to represent. And so Sage is like, well, I feel funny representing Africa since Rabia is like African. And then her other really good friend is Ethiopian. And then there's another girl who's also, I don't know which part of Africa she is. So she's like, so I think I'm just gonna go with Puerto Rico. I was like, go ahead. I was like, why'd you call your Uncle Lino and have him to, so of course we called him. He was like, oh girl, I have the perfect thing you can do. And he's like dressing her top to bottom, So I got to get the ingredients because we have to bring a dish.
That's going to be fun.
So,
That's going to be fun.
Yes. The weekend is already filled.
Yeah.
Oh, we have Nutcracker auditions coming up.
Oh, yay. All the things are happening. So,
you see, I put my head on the desk and never came up.
I saw you do. Oh, and you know what? I wanted to give a shout out to a friend of mine. If you, especially to the mommies out there, her name is Miss Corene Lavhan.
Oh.
She is also a CSA grad, but we didn't teach her.
Okay.
She was, I met Corene when we did for Color Girls at Karamu. She was Lady in Green when I was Lady in Red.
Wow.
And she just dropped her podcast. Well, she just dropped, it's season 2, but she does her slightly differently. She records the whole season and then drops. But it's called The Mommy Hour.
Nice.
So I will link her in the show notes. Go check out Corene and The Mommy Hour. It's a slightly different take because she's a new mommy.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And both of her babies are under the age of 4.
Oh.
But she has a lot of really great interviews. Check her out. She is having great success. Also an actor. She lives in the DC area now. If you get to visits the Smithsonian African American Museum in DC. Her voice is the voice on several of the exhibits.
Okay.
So I'm just
checking her
excited and pleased for her. And also she's a stay-at-home mommy.
Okay.
So she has a lot of that perspective as well.
I almost forgot to mention this. There's a lot of shout outs that I need to do, but I don't know everybody. I'm terrible with names, y'all. So I really am gonna wait for the next time to get those out because I met so many amazing people over the summer and reconnected with so many amazing people. I can't keep up, but I do want to acknowledge Arthur Mitchell. That was that discord, and that's the discord in me. That's sad, but happy, but sad. I don't think I can process it really right now. Yeah. But between that and then watching Black Girls Rock, I know you haven't seen it, so we're not going to talk about it just yet.
No, you go ahead and talk about it. No, I don't care about it.
Okay. Well, see, when I said old, I thought like 2 or 3 years old because y'all, I just got cable this year, and so. I've been a Netflix person, which means that I've been, watching stuff that's 3 and 5 years old, and for a long time it was library, which was like at 7 years old. So with this whole cable thing, I'm like, you mean it's happening now? Like right now, I'm in the know right now. But anyways, they featured Madam Judith Jameson.
Yes.
And so it's been another explosion of dance for me. There's been a lot of really beautiful Black dance just kind of popping up, even though it's been popped up. We've been popping already, but there's so many people that I want to acknowledge. The biggest one right now is Arthur Mitchell, because without him, there would be no Dance Theater of Harlem. And how ironic that this was the summer that we were there. So, shout out to him. Well, not to him, but much love to his family, and also to the dance family who endured his classes and was under his leadership, who are now grown adults and they're still teaching or still dancing, or mothers or fathers or partners or whatever you are, to have his legacy live on.
Yeah.
You are the next generation, and it just was his legacy continues on, even if his body does not. His spirit still goes on. So I just wanted to
absolutely
mention that. So
absolutely. I mean,
yes. All right, let's get you to
here we go. 1, 2, 25,
18, 17.
See, I never know what she's gonna do. I don't know if she's gonna go up, she's gonna go down. I'm gonna get the little piano thing like Jen Lay and be like, here's your note. Ting, 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 ting.
Okay, you start us off.
Do me so, ting, ting, ting.
We're so tired. Oh my God, Discord.
See, that's the funniest part. I keep trying to tell y'all that's the funny part. Brad will have a fit.
Oh my gosh.
But
yeah,
okay.
Brad Weiner, please.
Bye.